The silence of Ethelgard in the celestial metropolis of Ethelgard, built upon the crystalline wings of a cosmic titan, the resonance weaver must stop a villain known as the Silent Cacophony from imploding the city by siphoning its very sound. The sky above Ethelgard was a swirling tapestry of violet and gold, the Ouroboros Nebula casting an eternal twilight over the city. Kellen, known to many as the Resonance Weaver, stood at the edge of the Titan's left wing, his boots clicking softly against the translucent crystal bedrock. He didn't just see the city. He felt it. The metropolis was a symphony of vibrations, the low hum of the transit spheres, the rhythmic pulse of the life support vents, and the deep geological thrum of the frozen titan beneath them. Kellen, the harmony is drifting. The titan's heartbeat is skipping beats. He knelt, pressing his palms to the surface. Usually, the feedback was a comforting G sharp, but today a hollow void was eating the frequency. Around him, the bustling morning market was falling into an eerie, unnatural stillness. The merchants moved their lips, but no bartering reached the air. The sound was being drained away. A block away, the spire of echoes, a masterpiece of architectural resonance, began to buckle. There was no crash, no thunderous roar of falling stone. Instead, the air shimmered with a terrifying distortion, and the massive spire simply folded in on itself, collapsing into a pinprick of nothingness. It was a localized implosion, a vacuum. Created by the absence of sound pressure, Kellen sprinted toward the disaster, his cloak fluttering in the sudden wind rushing to fill the void. People were stumbling, clutching their ears and throats, gasping in the thin, silent air. Kellen reached the site of the collapse and touched a jagged shard of remaining crystal. Kellen, reconstruct. Let the past speak its truth. His eyes glowed as he forced the atoms of the shard to vibrate at their previous frequencies. A ghostly, translucent image of the destruction played out in reverse, revealing a figure standing at the center of the vacuum, a man whose body seemed to be made of warped glass and shadows. The figure stepped out from the center of the devastation. This was Malachor, the entity known as the Silent Cacophony. He didn't walk so much as he glided through a pocket of absolute silence that followed him like a predator. Every sound within 100 yards, the rustle of Kellen's clothes, the distant chime of the city was pulled into Malachor's chest, where it was converted into a visible, vibrating darkness. Malachor, the universe is too loud, Weaver. Ethelgard screams with the noise of 1,000 parasites. I am the cure. I am the peace that follows the storm. Kellen stood his ground, his hands beginning to oscillate so fast they became a blur. Kellen, peace isn't found in a vacuum, Malachor. It's found in the balance. You're not bringing peace. You're bringing an end to the song. Malachor raised a hand, and the silence intensified until it became a physical weight. He released a kinetic vacuum, a sphere of negative pressure that tore the very oxygen from the air. Kellen reacted instantly, clapping his hands together. The impact created a focused sonic boom that collided with the vacuum. The clash sent a shockwave of distorted light through the plaza, shattering the windows of the nearby residential pods. Kellen, I can feel the sounds you've stolen. They're fighting to get out. He lunged forward, vibrating the air around his fists to create blades of high-frequency energy. Malachor dodged with fluid grace, his voice echoing from nowhere and everywhere at once. Malachor, let them fight. Their struggle only provides the pressure I need to crush this city into a diamond the size of a grain of sand. The battle escalated as they moved through the hanging gardens of Ethelgard. Malachor siphoned the rustle of the leaves and the splash of the gravity-defying waterfalls, using the energy to launch invisible hammers of force that leveled the ancient trees. Kellen was being pushed back, his lungs burning from the lack of air. He realized he couldn't beat Malachor by matching his strength. He had to change the frequency of the fight. He dove behind a fallen pillar and pressed his ear to the ground once more. He ignored the chaos above and focused on the deep, ancient resonance of the Titan's wing. It was a massive, untapped reservoir of sound. Kellen, I need a bigger instrument. The city won't provide it, but you will. Old friend, he began to hum, matching his own internal frequency to the core of the cosmic giant. Malachor loomed over the pillar, his hands glowing with the concentrated pressure of 1,000 screams. Malachor, end of the line, Weaver, your song ends in a whisper. He brought his hands down, but Kellen didn't move to dodge. Instead, Kellen struck the ground with both palms, releasing every bit of energy he had saved the Titans. Wing didn't just vibrate. It sang. A massive, golden wave of pure harmonic resonance erupted from the crystal, surging upward through Kellen's body. The sound was so loud it was visible, a golden tide that swept away the darkness. The trees, the water, and the very air began to glow with the Titan's ancient light. Malachor recoiled, his vacuum pockets popping, like bubbles against the sheer volume of the cosmic melody. The weaver stood, his entire form radiating with the frequency of the stars. He reached out and grabbed the void at the center of Malachor's chest. Kellen, you wanted silence? Then hear the truth. Every sound you stole has a place in the chorus. With a final, resonant surge, Kellen forced the stolen sounds back into the world all at once. The implosion reversed. The kinetic vacuums turned inside out, releasing a kaleidoscope of noise and light. Malachor screamed a sound that was finally his own as his physical form began to vibrate into dust, unable to contain the sudden influx of reality. The shockwave of the release cleared the nebula's clouds, revealing the brilliant, unfiltered light of the distant stars for the first time in centuries. Silence returned to Ethelgard, but it was the natural, peaceful silence of a city at rest. Kellen sat on the edge of the restored plaza, his hands trembling from the exertion. The spire of echoes was still gone, but the foundations were humming with a new, vibrant energy. The citizens slowly emerged from their homes, their voices returning in hushed, miraculous whispers. The merchants began to laugh, and the transit spheres resumed their steady, comforting drone. Kellen looked up at the Ouroboros Nebula, which seemed to pulse in time with the Titan's wing. Kellen, the song continues. It's a bit different now, but it's still beautiful. He stood up, ready to begin the long work of reconstruction, one frequency at a time. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more stories like this, make sure to like and subscribe. Until next time, stay super.